Bhakti Maharaj was going to, when he was chairman, he told me he wanted to travel around, do interviews with his godbrothers, and write a book. But that didn't happen. Satsvarup Maharaj is to be here. This is not Tamal tree.
This is the Tamal tree.
This is Tamal? Its leaves look white. Anyway, Gopal Krishna Maharaj, he went to law school. I don't really know, I never asked him why, in the Sorbonne in Paris. So he spoke fluent French. He also either studied or worked for a while in Montreal.
Studied in McGill University.
He also studied in McGill.
Yeah, and also in Stanford University in Paris. And he did job in Pepsi Cola company.
In New York.
Yeah.
Well, Pepsi Cola is Canadian. But anyway, so after Bhagavan left, the two people I was always pushing to be GBC of France, Gopal Krishna Maharaj and Kadamba Kanana Maharaj. Kadamba Kanana Maharaj is Dutch, but he spoke fluent German, French, English. So I was always begging him, please, please go to France. It's such a wonderful preaching place. Anyway, but he had his hands full, and anyway, we knew each other a long time. Of course, always on the GBC, and he was always very, very particular about. He was very, very kind, very helpful. Whether going to the temple, or often when we had issues in Hungary and we needed Indian support, so he was super, super helpful. Anyway, I can't too much. And then just before we left last year, just before we left, then I went, and you were there, and Smarahari, and that was like a few days before opening of Rohini. So showed me a whole picture book. He said, you have to come for the opening. I said, when is it? Oh, it was on the day that we were flying out. And I said, we're all flying out. That's just I can't change it. No, you should come. So, but anyway, I didn't. He was very, very proud and of that facility, which I haven't seen, but I heard is very beautiful. And then here, and whenever there was a program during festivals or Rath Yatra, he'd call us to attend. And then sometimes I got embroiled trying to help him with things in Delhi. And Gunagai Goswami, he came to Hungary a long, long time ago. I mean, I knew him from when he was temple president of San Diego. which was before Padre Narayan Maharaj's time, and I went there, spent a little time there. I was from Minneapolis, but he came to Hungary, and he just finished our festival tour, so it must have been either 91, 92, and he made pizza for everybody. That was sort of his, he was famous for pizza. Very, very nice person. And he would always, devotees, would buy books that I wrote. They would buy it. Every time a new volume came out, they would buy the volume. He would buy boxes at a time. That's when he went to South America. He would buy a box at a time. Ananta Shanti Prabhu, I didn't know. I met him once when I went to Moscow, but he was the first Russian devotee. Prabhupada went to Moscow. He was friends with the son of the Indian ambassador. So, Indian ambassador knew that he was there. So the son knew Prabhupada, so they went to see. And Prabhupada just preached to Ananta Shanti for 2 days, 3 days. And he just, it was only Shyamasundar with Srila Prabhupada. And just from that one thing, then Krishna consciousness spread through Russia, and then the CIS, devotees, he was also taken in, electrical shock treatment, torturing. Anybody read that book, Salted Bread? I even had it translated into Hungarian because it was get devotees to really realize what devotees go through to spread Krishna consciousness. Generally, we have it very easy. So they suffered a lot. Ayendra Prabhu, everyone knows Ayendra. I first got to know him when he came through Chicago, and he stayed there for some time, and we used to talk. And then he came to India, and when I came here and saw that he was here, I was trying to get him to go back to the West, but he started getting really determined. No, Srila Prabhupada wanted to come to Kirtan, and it's not going on. It wasn't going on at that time. It was going on in Mayapur, but not in Vrindavan. So, and then he's so famous, and he made, somehow or another, he started this whole movement within the Hare Krishna movement for chanting. And then over in the corner was
Vibhu Chaitanya.
Vibhu. Well, Govinda Maharaj introduced me to him. He used to cook Krishna Balaram's Raj Bhoga, and he would say, "There's nothing as sweet as Krishna Balaram Seva." Once devotees, Prabhupada was with some devotees, older devotees, and one devotee who was just always engaged in service pointed him to Vibhu and said, "Prabhupada, he doesn't always chant his rounds." Prabhupada just turned on devotees. He says, "Don't criticize a pure devotee." And when he got too old and made him here, he used to just sit and give Charnavrita. But the nice thing was that he didn't just give, he would hold people's hands. He would take their hands, and then he would take drops so that they wouldn't flow, You know, otherwise you go somewhere, you give your hand, and people, but he would grab everybody's hand, and he just sat there, and that's what he did all day long. He was a really wonderful devotee. And then is
Narmada Goswami.
Narmada Swami. He was working with the BPT in Mumbai, and he was diagnosed with cancer, stage 4 terminal cancer. So he came here. I think came to the Goshala.
He was staying in Keshabgunj.
Where?
Keshabgunj, just across the street.
And he just decided he was going to fast to death. He didn't eat, didn't drink. So rather than be killed by cancer, he decided to fast to death. I mean, that's what Srila Prabhupada really did also. You know, he drank a little Charnamrita, and sometimes when his sister was there, but otherwise Prabhupada didn't drink. So Narmada Swami did that. I remember when my mother was very sick, she asked me, she says, will you take me to Switzerland where they have this aided dying? I said, no, I can't. It's not really something that, I mean, you're not in any great pain or anything like that. You're not interested in living anymore. But I said, but if you stop eating and stop drinking, then I'll stay here while you do that. She says, no, that's too difficult. It is difficult. And then
Purnachandra.
Purnachandra Goswami, I got to know him in Soho Street. He and his wife moved there way back, I don't know, 80s. And he had first initiation from Prabhupada and second from Tamal Krishna Maharaj. And yeah, he was a very learned, shastric person, and he was one of the few people who could really sit down and talk Shastra with. And then comes
Bhakti Madhuri Govinda Maharaj. Makhanlal.
He is a very old devotee, and he has a brother called Narayana. So they joined way back in San Francisco. And he had this very deep, rough voice. Hello, Maharaj. But he was deeper than mine. And he very, very much wanted to take sannyas. And then he stayed there at Punjabi Bagh Temple. Now they're building a new temple.
Yes, Punjabi Bagh.
He's staying there in Punjabi Bagh Temple. But he's a very nice devotee. He would carry around Jagannath, Balaram, Subhadra, right? So in his neck like that. So sannyas committee, Maharaj, it's not what we do. He said, but these are my deities, they want to go with me. Set an example for other people. People can't walk around with deities in their necks like that. Anyway, he stopped. And then comes
Kadamba Kanana
Maharaj. Yeah, we got to the stage where when he saw me, he'd go the other way because he knew that I'd immediately try and pressure him to go to France. Now we have, of all people, who still doesn't speak very much French, Janananda Maharaj. and they're doing fantastic in terms of book distribution. He, Kadamba Kananamaj was Maipur, first met him, then he came here. He was the temple president, and when he was in the shower, someone shot him. A lot of politics goes on around here, especially over land. And Vrindavan can be a very dangerous place. I was very close with, well, you call him Nanda Kishore, but actually with the father, I forget his name, and then Bipin was on one side, and what was Ravana's brother name? Bibhishan. Bibhishan was his other brother, and they split ways, and so they had shops side by side. Still shops there, but now it's Bibhishan's son. And I trained them how to cater to Westerners. First Bipin, and from him others learned that Westerners worked like Indians. They wanted a different aesthetic quality. And anyway, one day, car pulls up, guy gets out with a submachine gun and starts shooting, and also kills him. I don't know whether he was the target or he was just sort of collateral damage, as they say. But so things like that happen in Vrindavan. People come, submachine, and this was the only time. It happened another time that I know of. Like I say, mostly always over land. This property here, I mean, you couldn't buy this much land anymore in Vrindavan, but this is probably worth billions of dollars. How many acres is all this?
It's 11.
Huh?
11 acres.
No,
11.
it's more than 11 acres. All this land. Everything, Gojal, from from road over there to the road over there, and here, Parikramarga. It's a lot. Then, Jamuna Devi.
Yeah, Jamuna. Devi.
I met her first at Chaitanya College, around 83, 84. She came with Dina Tarni, whom I just met in Mayapur. And it was funny, when she came, she arrived in the evening, and she got out of the car and started taking her stuff out of the trunk. And, you know, I was a sannyasi. I offered obeisances. And everyone was like, why am I offering obeisances? I mean, it was Jamuna Devi, Prabhupada's, one of Prabhupada's closest disciples, certainly in terms of ladies. And she was a phenomenal cook. They stayed in South England. They got some retired army general who lived, who knows, in London, had this big property there, and so they were living and taking care of it. And then they would regularly come up to the manor and so on. But when she cooked, she always started cooking the day before. And even I remember once when she came over and she said that I was in charge of the Sankirtan party, that Maharaj wanted to cook for the Sankirtan devotees. So same thing, she started the day before, and then she came and she served everything. And she came out with this feast. I said, Mataji, if they eat all this, they're not going out on Sankirtan today. Die. But everything was really, really super excellent, as Prabhupada would say. And she spoke, like when she spoke about Srila Prabhupada, it was very moving, very heartfelt. She was very intelligent. Tamal Krishna Maharaj says, Prabhupada, you know, you could make Jamuna a GBC. But Prabhupada never did that, but he replied, he says, well, if I do, then she's only going to have a half a vote. Chaitanya Charitamrita. So, yeah. And then you can read about her in that book. Then she's really kind and helped a lot of devotees, men, ladies. Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj, wonderful Vaishnava. I mean, his samadhi is there in Mayapur. You see his Pushpa samadhi over here. You make offering? How many?
We come once a day. We come.
Once.
Yeah.
That's
The mothers have taken. So the kids are settled in school. So every week, one mother comes.
That's enough. That's enough.
Very lenient.
Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai.
Brahmananda Prabhu. Brahmananda Prabhu.
Oh, I forgot. Well, when Brahmananda Prabhu talked, no one fell asleep. No one left the room. And when he talked about Prabhupada, it was like, he was the best, by far. And when he got into talking about Srila Prabhupada, he would cry. He had a very soft heart. And first got to know him in Montreal when Prabhupada came in 75. But then he stayed in England for a year in 83, 84. And I begged him to stay, but he didn't. He went at that time, went back to Africa, Prabhupada. That was one of the last things Prabhupada said. He told Brahmananda over, he just whispered, he says, go to the interior. He wanted him to go like into the heart of Africa. Who knows? Pygmies, headhunters, and so on. So he sent him to Africa. But he was Gargamuni Prabhu. I didn't know him so well. I mean, he's here, right?
He's Narendra Krishna Bandis.
But yeah, Brahmananda Prabhu, he was really wonderful, and he was really sort of a shelter-giving person. And, I remember once they were in the library in Mandir, and I walked in, and they both stood up. What are you doing? They're my seniors, and stood up because I was a sannyasi. They like that book. They plagiarized my book, the Bhaktivedanta Purport. They like that. And in other words, they ran off copies and sold it. They were stealing everybody's books, everybody's recordings. Hare Krishna. Jai Anilo Prema Dhana Karuna Prachur. Ultimately, it's the association of Vaishnavas that helps us to get the shelter of Krishna's lotus feet. Those stairs aren't very nice, or at least not very nicely engineered. Like the top one, how it butts into the bottom of the a little small. Anyway, it's very nice. When people pass away, we generally just remember the good things. When they're here, that might be a different story. Unfortunately. Let's go. We gotta go.